Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mechagon Workshop Mythic Plus Dungeon Guide for Season 2 in the War Within, including the most recent changes for this iteration of the dungeon. We'll be going through all important boss and trash mechanics, and at the start you have to fight several packs of different Tonks. The rocket ones are going to shoot swirlies on the ground, simply dodge those, and always save an interrupt for the bomb Tonks, which are going to try and detonate, doing huge AoE damage to your whole team. You have to clear the whole arena at the start in order to summon the Tussle Tonks, which is the first boss. You have to kill them at the same time in order for them not to enrange, and both of them have 3 abilities. The big guy is going to pummel your tank, doing damage in a circle around them, so make sure to stay out of that. And then he's going to channel Ground Pound, which does AoE damage to everyone for 4 seconds. Upon reaching 100% energy, he buffs himself with Platinum Plating, which reduces the damage taken by 33%, and in order to remove that, you have to bait him under the hammers near the edges of the arena, which is going to smack them and remove the buff. Of course, make sure he's the only one standing in the impact area. The tank is going to randomly charge at people and knock them back up. Make sure you don't land on the mines that he's also going to be dropping throughout the fight, as they do a lot of damage. At 100 energy, he does a big frontal charge. Make sure to dodge that and preferably bait it close to the other boss, because he's going to hit a wall and get stunned for 5 seconds at that location. And last but not least, there's gonna be soul blades zooming through the cracks of the arena throughout the whole fight, so make sure to stay in solid ground and dodge those as well. In the next area, you're gonna fight the waste processing units, which are going to cast Mega Drill. This is a channel that does AoE damage to everyone in your party, and their Puncture Tank Buster also leaves a bleed on their target. The big metal slimes are going to cast Corrosive Gunk, which does AoE damage to 3 people in your party and puts a huge healing absorb shield on them. They also put a disease on your tank that reduces their haste, so if you can dispel it, definitely do so. Just before the boss, you have to fight several junkyard dogs. They're going to cast Fiery Jaws. That used to be uninterruptible but CCable cast, which is now instant. And it's going to apply a dot to a random target, which stacks, but luckily it's dispellable. Kill all the dogs and you'd be at the second boss, K.U J.O. During the fight, boxes are going to drop from the sky. You wanna dodge the impact area, but once they land and he starts casting Venting Flames, you wanna hide behind them to avoid the AoE damage that is certainly going to kill you. After the channel ends, you wanna move away from the box, as it's eventually going to explode and kill everybody in a small circle. He's going to put a huge dot debuff on your tank that you can dispel, and doing so does huge AoE damage to everyone in your party, so make sure they're topped off before that. After that, a new box is going to drop, and you wanna move away from it initially because he's going to target 3 people with Explosive Leap. Big orange circles that you wanna spread, he's going to jump to every circle and do damage to the person inside. And you wanna move away from the box because if the box is inside of those circles, it's going to blow up and then you're going to die once he casts the Venting Flames because you have no place to hide. They will destroy the old boxes, and from this point on, it's rinse and repeat. After that boss, you need to move on a moving belt and avoid exploding fire vents that will one-shot you, but there's a button at the end of the ramp that you can press in order to stop them. You then reach a small arena where you fight 3 waves of mobs. The first one includes the Mechagon Tinkerers, interrupt their Gigas La Loop, and try to bait the squirrels that they summon away from the main group, as they explode in a big blue circles that you need to move out from. In the second wave, you're going to fight 3 defensive bots. They're going to cast Arcing Zap at players. This is some initial damage with a heavy dot after that, which is dispelled by magic. So try to keep up with these if you can. And then the bot labeled with number 3 is going to cast Short Out. This is a 3-second channeled AoE that does heavy damage to everyone in your party. Defeat these and you get to fight one big robot called Blastatron. He's constantly going to fire rockets out of his butt, doing random damage to players in your party. And he's also going to be casting Sonic Pulse. This is a frontal that you need to dodge, as it does a lot of damage and it also silences. At 100 energy, he starts casting Capacitor Discharge. Stay close and run through him in order to get to the quadrant that is currently safe. It's going to change every few seconds, so you have to keep moving and healing through the rockets which are still raining from the sky. Defeat him and you have to hide in the steam in order to avoid alarm bots in the next area. If they see you, you start from the beginning, so be careful. If you make it through, you get to fight one more pack which introduces 2 new mobs. Interrupt the Mechanic's tune-up ability, as this is an 8-second channel that actually heals. And after that, move out all the mobs from the yellow shield that the defenders are going to summon. This one reduces the damage to everyone inside by 75%, so you can actually go in and take advantage of that as soon as you move the mobs out. The next boss is Machinist Sparkflux, and although he's the main target, every time he summons plants on the edges of the arena, you have to switch to them and kill them quickly because they focus a target and do a lot of single target damage to them. At 100% energy, he summons beams in the middle of the room that rotate around, so move along with them. And beams or not, you have to be dodging 3 different things throughout the fight at all times. Occasionally, he's going to cast a big blue circle that disorients, so move out of that. More and more cogwheels are going to be flying into random directions across the room, so keep an eye out for them. And there's gonna be fire swirlies around the areas where you killed some of the flowers. So try to move the boss away, but beware of them while you're going around the circle, dodging the beams. Navigate your way through that chaos and DPS the boss down to move to the next part. After that, you have to fight 2 spider tanks, not necessarily both at the same time, in order to jump to the last platform. They have the Sonic Pulse Fronto, which does damage and silences, and they're gonna be firing rockets around doing AoE damage to everyone in your party. After you kill them, the last platform has different combinations of all the mobs that we have seen so far, so enjoy those, and if you manage to get through them, you'll be at the last boss. In phase 1, King Mechagon is going to summon 4 plasma orbs, which are occasionally going to reposition in your blue circles. Stay away from them and don't be on the way of the blue arrows. He's also going to mark a player with a red arrow and shoot a fronto on them. Stay away, and the player is going to take a lot of initial damage and then have a 20-second dot on them after that. There's one more mechanic. Takeoff, he jumps into the air and fixates a player, chasing them with a blue beam that you need to stay away from unless you wanna die. That lasts for 6 seconds and everybody is taking AoE damage while this period lasts. Phase 1 ends when you kill that machine, you're then stunned, the boss jumps into a bigger machine at the edge of the arena, and then you proceed with phase 2. In that phase, the blue orbs are still there, they're still gonna be jumping around, so keep dodging them along with their blue arrows. And at the same time, you wanna spread in a semicircle around the boss, because in this phase, he's going to do 3 frontos one after the other. Every player in the blue line takes damage, a dot, and a debuff that increases the subsequent damage taken from this ability by 100%. So if you get hit twice, you're dead. Best strategy here, if you take the beam, don't move, and let everyone else move out from your line. The extra ability in this phase, he summons a magnet somewhere in the room and sucks everyone in, including the blue orb balls. Of course, that's doing AoE damage for 9 seconds. The further away you are from the magnet, the less damage you're going to take. Rinse and repeat until you kill the boss, or as in this case, until the boss kills you. And that'll be all for the Mechagon Workshop Dungeon Guide, but if you want to find out more Mythic Plus content for Season 2 in the War Within, definitely check out this channel. I'll see you in the next video. Now get out of here.